to another Drive and Talk video. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Now, today I thought I'd talk about something that happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you, or at least a lot of people. And my catchphrase is, have you been eBay'ed? Have you been eBay'ed? So what do I mean by that? Now, don't get me wrong, I've actually bought quite a few things on eBay, and frankly it's very good. I find very good. I haven't tried Temu. I have used eBay, and I limit my purchases to about under $20 because just like going to a Sunday market, if it's $20 I can afford the hit. If it's a more expensive item, then yes, you may or may not be able to get your money back. But if it's a dud, but it does what it's actually advertised to do, you can't complain. If you pick the dud product, that's your choice. But if the product's broken or something like that, well, that's a different matter. So now what do I mean by eBay'ed? So you go in there, you do your research, go all through the different options, and you get a price. Then you see down below there's other ones, sponsored ads, which are cheaper. So you go through all the options and then finally pick a price, looking at maybe the reviews, and pick an item at a price that you're happy with. That's all well and good. So you've done your homework, due diligence, and you place the order. Now, they come from China, and I find it incredible that they can post the things from China. The cost of the item is actually cheaper than postage in Australia. So they can, if you posted that same item in Australia, you couldn't afford the item. So you buy the item, and then 5 or 6 weeks later, lo and behold, in your letterbox or on your front doorstep, usually in your letterbox, sometimes a little card maybe, but you get your item. You open it up and it's squashed. Or there's no packaging because they removed the packaging to make it cheaper for them, or whatever reason. I don't really know the real reason, but often it's the packaging's been crushed, good old Australia Post, or perhaps from overseas, but soft plastic bag, not strong packaging, and the item, but the item is still functional, so packaging doesn't really matter. It's just helps sell the product. But so the item's still functional, or it looks functional, and you get the item, so that's good. Now the next part of it is you go to use it, and the item doesn't work, or it doesn't include everything that you've purchased. So for example, I recently purchased what's called a micro tag gun. And a micro tag gun, if you've been to the shops and you see these little tags with plastic hanging on garments, and they're sort of like they've got little T. You get a stack of undies or a stack of socks, you'll see there's a piece of plastic that goes between that. That's a micro tag, and they're usually a bit longer. But these are micro tags. Now on television they were, or not television, but on the internet, they were promoted. If you get the really, really small ones, about 0.2 inch long, you can use them to tag clothing, tag your sewing. So we thought this was a really good idea, and I thought it'd be good to get one for my wife. She loves the idea. So anyway, so go through all the items, go through the descriptions, and there it is. It's got the tag gun and 3 needles or 5 needles, I'm not exactly sure what, and 1,000 tags. Bit of a risk because I don't know what the length of the tags are, but I can always cut the tags, tie them, and make them short. But no information on the length of tags. So that's okay. I've now got a complete kit. So when the kit came, no needles and no tags. Now it's like having a stapler without staples. So I contacted the supplier, and the first thing they'll do, this is where I called being eBay'ed, is they will offer a discount. Oh, we're sorry about that. Would you like a $2 discount? This item was $12 something. Would you like a couple of dollars off? And I said, no. I want the item I paid for. Oh, sorry, it was a mistake. That shouldn't have been in the ad. So yeah, but I went through all these ads to find it. There were cheaper ones with the same items, and Temu was half the price, but I don't want to branch out and use them because sometimes I don't know what I'm getting because I'm not experienced with them. So and then you turn around and you say, no, that's not acceptable. I want the item that I purchased. So they say, offer you another discount. And you say, no, look, I just want the item that I purchased. So then they come back and they say, look, tell you what, you go and buy the tags, the plastic tags, and we'll refund your money. And I'm thinking, first of all, I buy them from eBay because there's no way for me to buy the tags in Australia at the sort of prices I can get on eBay. So really my thought is, you buy the tags and send them to me. But so they put it on to me. And secondly, how do I know they're even going to refund the money? I highly doubt that they'll refund the money. So they're delaying and delaying. So, and I look at the return postage price for sending items back. If I try to pay for return postage through Australia Post, it's half the price probably of the item. So there's no way I can send it back because then I lose the postage price. Now, what I didn't know is if the item isn't what you ordered or it's broken, eBay guarantees it. But I didn't know that. A friend told me when you get an item from eBay and it's not what you ordered, you can ring up and get a consignment, and they've got to come and pick it up and take it back. So if it's broken or not what you ordered, it's their responsibility. That's fantastic. So at this stage, I mean, we're talking backwards and forwards. It's getting really quite tedious. I said, no, look, at the end of the day, I ordered this. This is what I want. So, okay, well, that's what we're offering. So then I turn around and say, look, I've now escalated this. Now I pay for things using PayPal, and I wanted to test if PayPal were good at resolving this issue. So I sort of said, look, I'm escalating this issue, and we'll see what happens. They said, yep, no problems, we'll see what happens. And so I've escalated the issue to PayPal, and they've responded back to me. And now the business turns around and says, we'll refund your money. Well, now it's too late, because now I'm going to waste PayPal's time, and he escalated the issue and told me it will be resolved within X number of days, not very long, about a week or two. And I think, well, there's nothing worse in business than having somebody ask you to do something and then that person then goes and asks somebody else to do it. So no, I left it at this stage in PayPal's hand. So PayPal contacted eBay, or did what they did, and then PayPal turned around and credited the money back. So not out of pocket at all. I've got the micro tag gun, which is useless to me because it has no tags, and the cost of tags is greater than the cost of the gun. So, and also, you know, with some of these purchases, do we really need it? It's probably more of a spur at the moment. So I'm not going to go ahead and get tags for it because it's largely a waste of time. So that's just going to go into the long-term storage called the garage and probably never be used. But anyway, so that was one of my experience with being eBayed. So they'll keep on offering discount and then discount, and they delay. You don't know what their reason for delaying tactics are. You don't know if they delay long enough. Oh, and by the way, after I turned around and escalated it, that's why they offered. I escalated and let them know I was going to escalate it, and then I put in a review, and I said in the review what had happened in that I bought the item and it didn't come complete as advertised. And so once I did that, they then approached me and said, look, we'd like to give you your money back, but could you please remove the negative review, because that's important to us. And my feeling is, yes, I can be greedy. First of all, I couldn't do that because I'd then be interfering with PayPal's process. But if I did turn around and take the money and remove the review, that's basically me being happy, I've got my money back, and I'm being greedy. But the community doesn't benefit from that. So I felt it was better to leave the review there so other people have the opportunity to see what's happening. Because if we don't leave honest, open reviews of our experience, then the system doesn't work and we only get biased good reviews. So I felt there's a community responsibility in there, and so I was happy actually to lose the money completely and leave the review there, because $12, $13 is not a great amount of money, and leave the review there so that other people can benefit and make a decision for themselves, because other people have done the same for me and helped me make decision-making purchases. So I think that's a good thing, as long as they're not biased, giving wrong information, nasty or malicious, but based on truth and facts, then I think that's a good thing. And you always have to read multiple reviews. So that was one of my eBays. But over the years, so had I been eBay, I was eBay. I mean, one person once said to me, if I was in business and I was a crook, I'd sell stuff on eBay. Or not eBay, I'd sell stuff. And not expensive stuff, cheap stuff. And when people ordered it, I wouldn't send it. And most people won't complain. It's only a few dollars, they won't complain. So you get all the money for doing nothing. And he said, and if somebody did complain, I'd refund their money. He said, it's only going to be a small percentage of people. And, you know, I think they're right. So I don't know if these eBay sellers are actually doing that. They don't have the items. Or what are they really doing? So I'm a bit suspicious of times, because I know that there are a lot of scams out there. But the good thing is, and it's full credit to PayPal, I use PayPal as the payment method. They came through. That's the first time I've had the opportunity to test them over all the years, and they came through. And so I have to give full credit to PayPal. eBay, I haven't tested their return policy, so I hope that I don't have to test it, but at least now I know that I can actually test the policy with eBay. Now, has this happened before? Absolutely. I had a cheap dash cam that I received, and it was supposed to do, I don't know, 120 degrees, and it turned out that it was about 15 degrees point of view, which is a very, very narrow. It had these features, it had none of the features that was advertised. It had a flaw in the screen. So it was faulty, and it didn't match the description at all. And again, they simply turned around and tried to offer me a discount. I said, no, it's damaged, it's broken, it doesn't do what it says. And I certainly didn't know that I could send it back at their cost, or at that stage either. So they offer a discount, and then they offer a discount, and it takes quite a bit of time and effort, and eventually they said, look, don't worry about it, just keep it, because it's not worth their while. So there have been other products that have been faulty. I bought a cigarette. I did a lot of stuff, experiments on 12 volt DC as in the type of device that you've got in your car, your 12 volt cigarette lighter. And I bought one of these 12 volts, and I wired it up, and it was rated at 10 amps. 10 amps at 12 volts, 120 watts. And what I wanted to do was to actually run a TV off a battery that was charged up from a solar panel. So anyway, this TV, I measured it, it ran at about between about 50 watts, top 60 watts. So it was well within the wattage. And I had to laugh. I had these wires running across my backyard into the kitchen, and I'd actually doubled up multiple leads so that the capacity of the wires was sufficient to run the distance. I wrote a calculator for voltage drop, so I knew what I was doing. television stopped, went off. I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. So it went off, went out to the shed where my solar panel and battery is, and moved the plug in and pushed it in a little bit harder. Came back in, television working. Yeah, fantastic, it's working. Success. Then it goes off again. I go out to the shed again and pull out, and lo and behold, the actual 12-volt plug was melting. The wire, there's a spring inside these 12-volt, so that when you plug it in, it pushes back, and there's a spring that pushes that contact in and out. But the spring was very light, and being very light, it acted more like a filament than a spring, and heated up and melted the plug. Now, that's a potential fire hazard, and as a result, I just threw it out. And I learnt my lesson. I was actually going to wire up some of my house with 12 volt. I don't know fully what I'm doing. I test these things. I know the theory behind it, but as soon as I realised that I don't know what level of compliance the equipment I buy, even though it was the same stuff that I was buying that I saw in the hardware stores, same codes and everything, I didn't know if it was actually up to specification. So I thought the last thing, for the sake of a few dollars of DC power, 12 volt DC solar generated power, I would not connect it anywhere near my house. So lesson learned. Don't do what you don't know when you don't know what you're doing. So that was a good lesson, and I threw it out. I didn't bother for a refund. I bought some Fitbit chargers on eBay, and good price, and I sat there charging up my Fitbit, and my wife said, "What's that smell?" And I said, "I don't know, it's from your side, isn't it?" She said, "No, it's from your side." That was the bedroom when we're sitting there watching television, and I said, "Oh," and I looked down, and there was the Fitbit charger from China melting, and I thought, "Oh my God, that's a fire hazard." And so I gently picked it up and took it straight outside, threw it out. So I'd also bought one from my father-in-law, which I said to him, "Give it back to me, here's your money back." He said he didn't want to part with it because he wanted to use it. I said, no, not taking the risk. So there are cheap, nasty, faulty products that are available on eBay, but just as equally, I've bought quite a few good products on eBay. Products that that have reduced the cost for me to experiment and play with various things at a level that is much cheaper than what I can buy in Australia. My reading glasses that I get, they're half moon, so I can actually operate a drone and see in the distance above the glasses. Very difficult to get those in Australia. $7 a pair overseas, and very good quality. Literally, I've not seen them in Australia, and so a lot of products you can't get. It's not worth the retailers to stock, and it's allowed me to do things that I wouldn't normally be able to do. So I'm really appreciative of this opportunity that eBay and World Shopping provides and offers. The range is much better and great solutions. So have you been eBay'd where you've got a product, it's faulty, and you write back, or it's not as described, and the end result is they try to negotiate their way out of it? So the question is, have you been eBay'd? And don't get me wrong, I like eBay, I use eBay, I've got great value out of it, but sometimes some of the resellers approach, if they just sold a good product to start with, there would be no issue, but they decide to try to negotiate out of it, and they keep dragging it out until you give up. So no longer an issue to me now, because if I do get eBay'd and the product is faulty, then I will turn around and contact eBay for them to rectify it and ask for a return courier to take it back at their cost. bad choice on my part, and I've just recently bought an item, an infrared binoculars to allow me to see in the dark. First of all, they're not binoculars because they actually look like binoculars, but they've only got one lens. So at first glance, using the screen, I can actually see better in the distance. But I didn't get that for as a binocular. I got it because it can detect infrared, and I actually wanted to use it for looking at fixed speed cameras and the infrared flashes that come from those. So I'm interested in using it as a device to pick up infrared light that I actually can't see with the naked eye, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that. So if at the end of the day it doesn't work, it does do what it says. The binoculars is a bit of a fallacy. It's not binoculars. They look like binoculars, but they only have one lens. So binocular quality, they're 10 times zoom, but it's digital zoom. So it's just like a fixed lens, because digital zoom just means you can take that video, put it into your computer, and zoom it all you like. So digital zoom's not really worth much. It may be helpful when you're sitting there and you want to zoom in on something, but I don't think it's particularly helpful. And the lower resolution screen you look at is not my eyesight's not the greatest, and my eyesight could actually see better in the distance than what these infrared binoculars could see. So perhaps I'll do a review of those, but that's not being eBay'ed. I bought that product knowing full well that there may be limitations to the product. I knew it had one lens, not two. I didn't expect the unit to be great. I did expect it actually to be like binoculars, where you got 10 times zoom, which is optical, or 3 times zoom, and it actually zooms in on the image better, but it's digital zoom. It says it's digital zoom, so it's my problem if that's a mistake. So not eBay, my possible bad choice, but hopefully it does what I wanted to do. Anyway, have you been eBay'ed? And thank you again for joining me on this drive and listening to me. And please like and subscribe if you like these videos, and I'll do more. If not, I'll keep quiet and just do the drive so you can enjoy the drive. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.